Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So predictably, Tyson Fury outboxes, beats up, and eventually stops Dereck Chisora in the 10th round of a thoroughly one-sided fight. I mean, I could really end the post-fight review there. It's basically the fight in which we were all expecting. But honestly, I think Tyson Fury should have got rid of Chisora a few rounds earlier. Quite frankly, Dereck Chisora was basically a dead man after the second round. Thoroughly one-sided. And I'm sure those of you out there who are more squeamish would have been uncomfortable in the last few rounds because Dereck Chisora's face was swelling up. He was bleeding out the mouth, cut under the eye, his nose was bleeding. His face was a mess towards the end of this fight. And you can argue that the corner should have pulled out Dereck Chisora a couple rounds earlier. Yeah, I sense that Dereck Chisora's trainer, Don Charles, is going to get a lot of abuse post-fight because, yeah, he could have easily pulled Dereck Chisora out. Chisora looked lost in the corner, bleeding and, unfocused, etc. He could have pulled him out a couple rounds earlier, but it is what it is. I mean, how do I even describe this fight? Again, it was literally the fight we all expected. First round, Chisora came out with some ambition. He actually caught Tyson Fury with a looping overhand right as Tyson Fury backed up into the corner. Also landed a flurry of body shots in round one. So, Chisora landed some shots in round one, and round one, I would say, was the most punches he landed in any round. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, was throwing that flick jab, throwing a quick straight right hand behind it, and very early he realised that the right uppercut for him was a good shot to throw because Chisora was fighting in that kind of crouch style where he'd kind of dip low. And often, from the very first round, Tyson Fury found a home for that shot. I felt Tyson Fury landed the better shots in round one, but according to the ESPN CompuBox, Dereck Chisora landed more shots. But I would still give it to Tyson Fury in regards to clean and effective punching. And basically after round one, it was kind of a beatdown. Round two, Dereck Chisora was stunned a couple of times, I believe once with a straight right hand, and maybe a right uppercut as well in round two. Chisora backed up to the ropes and sustained some combinations from Tyson Fury. He was trying to rock and roll with shots, he was trying to take the sting off shots, and he was evading some shots, but he was basically target practice for Tyson Fury. And yeah, round two onwards, that was really the theme of the fight. Occasionally, Tyson Fury would take a round off where he would just box and not really throw much, but Dereck Chisora could never really capitalise. The best Dereck could do really was throwing a half-assed jab to the body, which Tyson Fury would try to counter with like a downward sort of right hand. And he managed to catch Chisora with that shot a couple of times as Chisora was throwing that jab to the body. But yeah, there was moments in this fight where Chisora would take a 2 or 3 punch combination, stinging punches. He'd kind of rock backwards, and Tyson Fury would basically reset and do his thing and box. It was kind of a slow beatdown. It was a slow beatdown of Dereck Chisora, and round by round, Tyson Fury was really just kind of picking holes in his defense, flicking that jab, doing what Tyson Fury does. He was also mixing that kind of flick jab, that quick jab, with a check left hook as well. That left hook was a good shot for Tyson Fury in this fight, although most of the time it was more of a slapping shot, but it was doing damage to Chisora's face, no doubt about it. But yeah, it was a slow beatdown, and I would say like rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, it started to look a little ugly. Chisora's face was bloodied and battered. He was throwing less and less, and when he was throwing, it was you could tell there was no power on those punches. Chisora had nothing left, and yeah, I can see the argument that Don Charles should have pulled out Chisora early. He should have pulled him out, really, to be honest. But, you know, that's Don Charles. I mean, Don Charles doesn't exactly have the best reputation in the UK as trainers go. And yeah, at the end of round 9, in between rounds, the referee came into Chisora's corner and said basically to his trainer, listen, you guys need to show me something or I'm going to stop it. And Don Charles snapped and said, we're okay. Clearly not, because Chisora in that corner was all over the place, you know, not focusing, bleeding, looking like a mess. And yeah, round 10, Fury was boxing up Chisora, and basically he landed a couple of like innocuous looking shots, and the referee just waved it off. Ordinarily, it would be a terrible stoppage, but I mean, if it was a competitive fight, it would be seen literally as one of the worst stoppages of all time, because they weren't big shots that landed on Chisora, but he just taken so much punishment at that point in time, and he had nothing left, so I don't have a problem with the stoppage. Again, I would say the corner really should have taken that matter into their own hands, but it is what it is. You know, Dereck Chisora gets another dose of CTE. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed he recovers okay. I mean, he took a bit of a beating. After the fight, there were some post-fight antics. Alexander Usyk was watching in the crowd. The interviewer made a note of that to Tyson Fury. At that point, Tyson Fury then starts trash-talking Alexander Usyk, calling him out, you know, this, that and the other, you know, doing the whole Tyson Fury shtick, which in my opinion is getting rather old at this point, just screaming incoherently at Alexander Usyk. Joe Joyce also got involved as well. Tyson Fury said that if he couldn't fight Usyk next, he would fight Joe Joyce. We'll see. We all know what fight should happen, and that is Alexander Usyk. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that fight. We've been waiting for Undisputed now for far too long. I mean, this has been going on since Wilder and Joshua back in, 2018? Whenever it was, 2017, whenever it was. So it's time now we get Undisputed. We're going into 2023. We need to get Undisputed, and Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk is a fascinating fight. I'm not going to say how I feel about that fight just yet. I'm going to wait until that fight's made official. If it's made official, fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, in regards to Tyson Fury's performance, I mean, I wouldn't say it was bad. I wouldn't say it was great. I mean, he did what he had to do, really. You know, workmanlike, got the job done, eventually forced the stoppage. I mean, it was what it was, really. He had a dead man in front of him, you know. But it is what it is. Share your thoughts below. What did you make of this fight? And more importantly, what did you make of Tyson Fury's performance? Share your thoughts below. Peace.